One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.
All right, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. I'm Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, here for another Metaphysical Mocha Monday. Cheers to you. Starting off the Monday with a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of motivation here every Monday morning on the Intuitive Prospector channel at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to get on the page, subscribe, share, like, contribute, join the community. Let me just readjust my... There we go. That's a little better. Okay. So, thought I'd come on and just broadcast the way that I normally do, and then when I get into the Healing Cafe, which will follow right at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'll come in on the Zoom platform so you can join me in the Zoom room for maybe a possible reading. So, good morning to you. Happy Indigenous People Day to all of the Indigenous people here and around the world. Thank you for allowing us to come and have a country and to have what we call America today. I know that the history was not very conducive to how we got here, but nonetheless, I just want to say Happy Indigenous People Day. So if you have today off, it's federal holiday, banking holiday, but also wanted to just also say congratulations to the LA Lakers who won the championship last night. For you sports fans out there. For me, it was kind of cool because I know in the year of 2020, a lot has gone on with everything that we have gone through. But a lot of people forget that Kobe Bryant passed away in February from that horrific, him and his daughter and 7 other people on the helicopter transitioned to the spirit world in that helicopter crash in February. And so it was really cool to see the Lakers win a championship, to do it for Kobe and his daughter. But I just want to give them a shout out. I want to give a shout out to our Seattle Storm here in Seattle. They won their 4th title. Sue Bird is amazing. I call her the Bill Russell of our times for women. So shout out to the Lakers. Shout out to the Seattle Storm. Shout out to my Seattle Seahawks, who are 5-0 for the first time in our history. We've never gone 5-0, and what a game. Geez, talk about heart attack. So I just wanted to give some shout outs and also put some events in the comment section, some upcoming events that I'm doing this month and next month. So if you go to my events page, you can click on. But I wanted to let you know that we're doing a spiritual demonstration. It's $10 via Zoom. It's myself and my colleague from England, Penny Hayward, who is also a teacher at the Arthur Findlay College in England. We're going to be doing an online spiritual demonstration and mediumship. And it's also the blue moon on Halloween. So it's a full blue moon. It's going to be a lot of fun. Time zones, depending on where you're at in the world, but it will be via Zoom, so I hope that you'll come join us. Also wanted to let you know that I've been doing a series with my colleague in Norway, and we've been having a lot of fun. I'll go ahead and put that in the comment section below as well. And it's soul guidance. It's inspirational speak. It's not so much mediumship. It's more about showing up and being... getting inspired talks and philosophies and inspired speaking and soul guidance. And we have, we have I think 4 more events. It's a series, and it's $20 per session, or you could have signed up for all 5. But I just wanted to share those events with you. If you're interested, love to have you join us on the journey, do a little bit of spiritual prospecting for your own spiritual gold, your own spiritual transformations, and of course your own spiritual healing. If you want to learn more about the work I'm doing, just go to marclainhart.com, type in the Intuitive Prospector. I'll show up on many different platforms, from Insight Timer to your Alexa. I just recorded my next series of spiritual tips through Alexa. You just asked to open up Alexa. Hey Alexa, open up Positive Living, and you get a series of spiritual tips from myself and other amazing colleagues. A lot of stuff going on. I'm doing my radio show this week, Inspired Living Radio, so make sure to get on my the live show broadcast, and it goes to podcast. What else? My latest article through Om Times Magazine. I'll put that in. Forgiveness is the best revenge. But best place to start is just subscribe to the Intuitive Prospector and join now the 30,000 plus people that follow me on this journey, and to share my soul adventures with you each and every week. And this week, today's message is what I've coined the seven B's of spiritual progression. And what I mean, if you look at the description, I put bees like the actual bee, because without bees to pollinate the world, there is no humans. And people are like, well, what do you mean? Without bees, there's no humans. Einstein talked about this a long time ago. He said, if we don't start taking care of nature, if we don't start taking care of our planet, if we actually wipe out the bumblebee. Now, I'm not talking about hornets and wasps. I'm talking about the actual honeybee, the bees that pollinate. without them, our food supply would be gone within 4 years. So I always put the 7 B's, the letter B or the B itself, for spiritual progression, because we need to keep moving forward. And I know that there's a lot going on in the world today. Everything is awakening. Things are starting to unfold, and things are starting to come into awareness, come into our alignment for transformation, awakening. And awakening is not easy for everybody. Some of us that have been on this path for a while understand what it's like to be unplugged from the matrix and get the reality of our world, and some are just being unplugged. But today I wanted to talk about the 7 spiritual B's for spiritual progression, something that I've taught on, something that I follow myself, something of just my own spiritual progression and my own spiritual path. So the first B in the 7 B's of spiritual progression is our battles. Every day we wake up, we have battles to either choose to fight in or choose to let it go. Choose to be right or choose to be at peace. That is life. Life is going to be a series of egos coming together, humans, people that want to be right, people that want to be famous, people that want to have the last word, people that want to be narcissists or gaslighters or be popular or be charlatans. The list goes on and on and on. But life is a series of battles. And you have to decide for your own spiritual growth what battles you choose to participate in. There's that old advice of choose your battles wisely. But as we wake up today for Metaphysical Mocha Monday, another Monday in 2020, we also have to be reminded that we're impacted by unforeseen events. For example, tomorrow starts Mercury going retrograde, so communications, technology, any kind of big plans, I would hold off until Mercury passes because there's planetary alignments. Mars right now is in its closest orbit to us than it has in 15 years, and it won't be back this close to us until 2035. We have 2 full moons in October, so we're starting to build up. We just came off, this first full moon is waning, but we'll actually start moving in towards Halloween. We'll have the blue moon, full moon. So these impact your journey. And what I mean by that is the moon moves the oceans and tides. That's why we have tides, and that's why we have currents, because it's a gravitational pull of another body. We're 65% water. I started learning about the moons in my days of emergency medicine as a firefighter, EMT, and working in the hospitals. And there is really something to it scientifically, historically, and so it does have a pull on us. So this month is going to be very intense. 2 full moons. Mercury goes retrograde starting tomorrow. Everything that's going on in 2020, whether it's the politics of it, the social unrest, threats of civil war now. I'm seeing news alerts on that. Racism, systemic racism, the confirmation of the Supreme Court. There's just a lot going on, and so there's going to be battles to have each and every day. So your realization for your spiritual progression is to be able to choose what battles you want to show up to and what you want to contribute to. And always just what I always say, do you want to be right or do you want to be at peace? I get a lot of people that come at me, especially on social media, and I just posted about, keep moving forward regardless of what people's opinions are about you or what people say, because people have an opinion and they want to see their words coming out of your mouth, and that's not spiritual progression. Spiritual progression is being able to step into your own authentic higher self and keep moving forward regardless of the pundits, skeptics, cynics. These might be family, friends, people the naysayers, and I would just advise you to keep moving forward and choose your battles wisely. So one of the battles that you can conquer is grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea. Join me here for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. Let's take a nice deep breath. Let's move into the magic of the moment. If you'd like to share out the page, please do so, or comment. I'll welcome you. I'm not really responding to comments in Metaphysical Mocha Mondays because this is really just a 30-minute inspirational show to set the tone for the week ahead. But in the Healing Cafe, I'll be connecting with all of you, and I'll be coming back on Zoom. So just give me a few minutes at 8:30 to get that all running. I will have a special guest in a couple weeks in the Healing Cafe joining me, one of my friends, colleagues, and students in my spiritual development group. And she's going to be giving readings live in the Healing Cafe, so I'm looking forward to that. So the 7 spiritual B's for spiritual progression. The first B, battles. We're all going to have battles. You have to choose what battles you want. The second, the burdens that you carry either from the battles or, one of the things I teach on is burdens, balancing, and becoming, because there's a lot of things that I talked about, and for those of you that follow my work, I've been talking about this for well over a year. My podcast from January 8th, I talked about civil unrest. great chaos, possibly, you know, threats of civil war and political crumbling, or, you know, people going at each other because of ideologies. But I also see the great coming together, and I'll continue to reflect on those words of what I said. But the burden of what I've seen coming and hoping that I'm wrong, and then finding out, well, no, it's actually right in line with what you were seeing. Some of us that see into the future, some of us that have a sense of knowing what's coming, that carries a sense of burden, because we have a responsibility. Myself as a spiritualist, as a full member of the SNU in England, the Spiritual National Union, I have a responsibility to be a realist, but not define that burden to communicate it without being fear-mongering or doom and gloom. And that's hard at times. And for me, it's been, you know, I wake up and I have a dream, and I write my dreams down, and I'm like, gosh, I hope that's really not what's going to come to pass. But the 7 spiritual B's of progression, I picked 7 B's because 7 is a very spiritual number. But the burdens, you have to address those burdens. You have to be aware of your burdens. Let those burdens, you know, work through you. Sometimes it's the battles and the burdens of what you're going through. Carrying a burden maybe from your past, a burden from what you're fearful of the future. But again, don't be fearful of the future. There was something I just posted the other day that I'll give you right now, and it talks about trust the wait, embrace the uncertainty, enjoy the beauty of becoming. And you can probably guess that one of the B's is beautiful or becoming. Because we have to trust the wait. There's a lot of uncertainty. We have to embrace uncertainty. But during this time, too, I find that I've really, you know, as an observation of what's going on in society in 2020, we'll look back at this year in this part in our history and say, what the heck were we doing? But I've learned a lot about people. People have really shown me who they are, what they stand for, what they support. And that's fine. That's free will and choice. But I also believe that during these times when the crisis is really at hand, you really see who the true people are, your spiritual warriors, your real true spiritual teachers, those that really care about others, those that care about our planet, those that care about society. And I've just really observed and seen a lot this year. And it's been really quite a transformational year for myself, I have to say. And I've been doing this work for a while. But I always remind people that we can be strong, but not rude. We can be kind, but not weak. We can be bold, but not be a bully. We can be humble, but not timid. We can be proud, but not arrogant. There's that balance. There's the, you know, trying to, how to, you know, especially in social media, there's a lot of bullying going on. But we have to learn to, you know, my motto from just history past and learning on my own journey is be humble or get humbled. Because a lot of times I get humbled. But you also have to know to speak your truth and be strong, but do it in delivering with words, because words matter. You can be strong, but not rude. You can be kind, but not weak. Just because I'm kind, don't mistake my kindness for a weakness, right? And when I speak up, I get a lot of people that, you know, want to disagree with me, which is fine, but I find that people can go right to personal attacks, right to the emotion side, and be rude and be, you know, speak words of vinegar versus honey. So it's been very interesting, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So first B, battles. Second B, burdens. Third B, when we're going through this, the most powerful thing that you can do is breathe. The breath. What's the first thing you do when you come into the planet? You shoot out, and the doctor catches you, gives you a whack on the butt. You take that first inhalation, that first breath. There's power in breath. There's prana, energy, life force energy. Take that breath in, because what's the last thing you do when you leave this physical journey and you move to whatever your belief system is? For me, it's the etheric world, the spirit world, heaven, summerland. I exhale. And that breath leaves. That breath of life leaves. And the consciousness and the soul moves on. I personally believe in life after death. I teach on it. I talk about after-death communication all the time, ADCs. I've been studying it, writing papers about it. I've had my own near-death experience. There is something beyond. But I can't make you believe that. All I can do is plant seeds and let those seeds germinate and grow based on your own experiences to what you feel is right. So, battles, burdens, breath. Breath work. Do breath work daily. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You got YouTube. You got technology. I do a lot of Soma breath, S-O-M-A, for my healing and for my transformations. I use it part of my meditation and just a series of deep breaths. And you can do that right now. Take a deep breath with me. When you breathe in through your nose, your stomach extends out. That means that you're breathing through your whole core. We call this the Dantian in Qigong. And when you warm up and you expand the dantian, or your full diaphragm, from the belly up to your chest, That's truly breathing. That is breath of life. And just taking a few series of deep breaths when you're in the battles, or you're dealing with a burden, or you've had a dream, or you just have a sense of knowing, breath can really calm the mind, calm the spirit, bring the energy back down through the power of breath. So battles, burdens, breath work. When you also breathe, that's a sense of buoyancy. I teach on buoyancy a lot. Breath work, think of yourself, for those that like water and like to swim like myself, just you're floating on your back. I do this in my hot tub all the time. And you breathe in, you raise up. When you exhale, you sink down. So by using breath work, you're actually creating a sense of buoyancy to lift yourself up, to lift your energy up, to lift your mindset up, to lift your higher self up, to lift your authentic self up. So by breath work, it brings a sense of buoyancy. And so we have battles, burdens, breath work, buoyancy. And through that buoyancy, you start to maintain what I call balance. Balance is very important, staying grounded. We're in my favorite time of the season, with it being fall season. But balance is a big part of spiritual progression, because some people can get really left, some people can get really right. And it's funny, because that's what's going on in society, especially in politics, left and right. It's funny when I write about, when I speak truth to power, or I call out something that I don't agree with when it comes to politics. Especially right now, I'm not a politician. I believe in the Constitution. I follow the Constitution, actually. But I'll say something, and people automatically put me on the other side, like I'm opposing because I don't agree with that view, or I'm calling out wrong, or just calling out. I have a moral obligation to call out things when they're wrong, and we all do. We're even taught to. You see something, you say something, right? And when you see something wrong, you have a duty to say something morally. And so when I speak up morally, people automatically want to put me on the other side. Okay, so I'm speaking out against the right, so I must be on the left. I'm speaking out against the left, so I must be on the right. So it's just interesting to be able to watch that and to find that balance between the two. Because one of my words that I talked about in my predictions for 2020, which I called the Roaring 20s, was homeostasis. And homeostasis is not a fight, a flight. It's a center road of moderation. It's a medical term for making your nervous system be in homeostasis. I talked about sustainability, I talked about self-mastery, and I talked about the great coming together, because I do see that, but we're going to be, this is going to be, the show that we're heading into is going to be very chaotic, possibly violent, unfortunately. I don't condone violence, I don't support violence. My family was impacted by murder, so I'm actually an advocate for victims of violence crimes. I don't think there should be any violence in politics, but unfortunately I have a feeling, and I've been seeing that that's where it's going to probably unfold. But we have to find the balance in that, not far left, not far right, but what is moderate center, because that is the best way to go to progress forward with anything, whether it's politics. If you go complete left, you go complete right, you're not going to get anything done in politics. The same thing with spiritual progression. You're going to have to, if you continuously go one way or the other, what's going to happen too is you're going to impact your relationships, you're going to impact your own health, your own state of mind. So it's very important to get out into nature, to be grounded, to meditate, to get good rest and hydration in your diet. That's all part of balance, you guys. And the spiritual B's of what I'm talking today about for spiritual progression, just to recap, we all go through battles. We all have our burdens. We all can do breath work. We all breathe the same air. We're all breathers, so I don't know anybody that doesn't walk upright that doesn't breathe air. If they don't, then we have to really have a deeper conversation and another conversation of what planet they come from. But it shows that we can transform, because through the power of breath, we can bring in a sense of buoyancy, raising up, a sense of balance, and that's where we start to blossom. Think about your journey so far. I talk a series of inhalations and exhalations. That's what life is, right? It's that little dash between the year you were born and the year that you're going to die. And it's that little dash of everything on your gravestone that you are here, your soul adventure. But before you came in, you breathed liquid for 9 months. We don't think about that. We just think this is it, and this is the way of life. But we're going to transform into even something greater after we leave the physical body of death, through the power of death and dying, transformation, passing over. It's just like what John Lennon talked about all the time. Death is like getting out of one car and getting into another car, and I personally believe that. So we've got battles, burdens, breathwork, buoyancy, balancing. We then start to blossom. We start to be like that flower that has the thorns on it, has grown, and eventually the flower starts to blossom and open up. We can't make a flower bloom before its time. And it's funny because I woke up this morning and I actually heard The Rose. I haven't heard that song forever, so I was like, oh, this is right in line with what I'm teaching today on The Rose. So is that Bette Midler, The Rose? It was early this morning, but it came on, so it kind of reminded me. But we do start to, you know, if we handle our battles, we address our battles, we choose our battles wisely, we have awareness to our burdens and let our burdens move past us. If we work with our breath work, if we start to raise up through the sense of breath work and buoyancy, if we stay balanced and grounded, we start to blossom to our higher selves and we start to see the world in different perspectives, we start to become really beautiful people. Now, you're already beautiful as you are, but you can become more beautiful. You can become a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. I truly believe that. And so that's what I teach on for the 7 spiritual bees, and I use the bee symbol of the actual bee to pollinate. Because in a sense, this is for you and your spiritual progression, this is a sense of pollination to grow into something bigger and better than yourself, transformation. So that's today's message. I hope that resonates with you. I'm going to just improv and give you your totem animal spirit, your crystal for the week. There we go, happy ending. Now I know it's backwards on my phone, it won't be this way in the Zoom room, but happy ending. It's a 9 and a 3, so 9 means completion, 3 means balance and creative expression. And of course, who doesn't want a happy ending? I know I do, especially with 2020. I could definitely use a happy ending. I know we all could. With this pandemic, shout out to all of the first responders, our hospital heroes, our healthcare heroes, everybody that's continuously to transport goods and supplies during this pandemic. Just a shout out to anybody that's been impacted by COVID. I've been personally impacted in my own journey. You know, I don't know what the number is today. When I last read it, was 215,000 deaths here in the United States. Over 1 million around the globe. So that means a lot of people have been impacted by this pandemic. But we're also learning and observing how the human species cannot get along and work together. And this is what it looks like when we don't work together. We're not progressing together because we have two different ideologies, 2 different ways of thinking, which is fine. But evolution and progression is being able to move together to find unity and work together for the best for everybody. So your totem animal spirit this week is learn from your mistakes, the coyote. Learn from your mistakes. So if you see the coyote in your journey, that's just a reminder to learn from your mistakes. I'm going to pick the I Allow My card, your mantra for this week, and it says, I allow myself to overcome any obstacles with ease. There's that taking that leap of faith, that fire and brimstone, if you will. Some call this the apocalypse. It might very well be the apocalypse, but for me, the word itself, apocalypse, if you break it down to its roots, it really means a lifting of the veil. And a rising tide lifts all boats. That's what apocalypse for me. Now, if you go with the Catholicism, how I was teaching Catholic, it's a fire and brimstone kind of thing. So it's not that. We're going to get through this. This too shall pass. I do see the great coming together. I do see us starting to mold together, but there will be some trying times. If you want to go to my website, you can get my latest article of who I predict to win the election, what I see for the election and the outcome of an election, national election. Crystal of the week is going to be Kanzite, Kunzite. Kanzite is it's a tranquil. It's called tranquil Kanzite, and it's an extremely spiritual stone with a high vibration. It awakens the heart center and unconditional love, producing loving thoughts and communication. And I figured with everything that we're going through right now, we could all use a little bit of an inspirational stone or a stone that raises consciousness, the heart center, if you will, and allows unconditional love to start resonating. Because we've learned a lot, we've gone through a lot, we've divided, but now we can really start moving with our intentions, our positive way of thinking, love, unconditional love, the golden rule. Treat others as we like to be treated. I really believe that this year in 2020 will be a year that we'll look back on and say, what were we thinking? Even our children will say, what were you guys thinking? So hindsight is 2020. I really reevaluate that saying now. Hindsight is 2020. But today I just wanted to share with you some of the spiritual B's of spiritual progression and things that you might be able to work on. I'll be here next Monday for another Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. If you want to join me in the Healing Cafe, I'll get that up and running here in give me about a minute to get onto Zoom and get it streamed through the Facebook app. You can also follow me on YouTube, where you get these shows, interviews, some of my dives, my hikes, past radio shows of Inspired Living. They're all there. So Spiritual Takeout, Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. So it's a lot of spiritual fun, spiritual prospecting for your own spiritual goal, for whatever that may be for your journey. So thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I hope that you're staying safe. I hope that you are staying properly informed. Happy Indigenous Day to you. Get ready for Mercury retrograde, which starts tomorrow. Please vote early. Vote, vote, vote. That is a right that you have and a privilege. It's not mandatory, but freedom is not free. And I always remind people, regardless of who you vote for, vote. Voting is very important. It's a voice to contribute to what I say, politics or morals and actions. So whatever side of the house you fall on, for me, politics is morals and actions. So vote your morals and vote today. Vote, vote, vote. A lot of people have died and sacrificed a lot for the freedoms that you enjoy today. And we want to make sure to leave good stewards and leave a placehold for those that are going to follow us. So it's been a pleasure talking with you this morning, drinking a cup of coffee. Much love to all of you. I'll get ready for the Healing Cafe right now. Until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate, and most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. See you for next Monday for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get ready for the Healing Cafe. Have a great day, everybody. Namaste.